r/AskReddit, in 20 years someone will ask what was COVID lockdown like, how will you answer? Man, that was so wild. I remember actually seeing grown adults arguing with cashiers about toilet paper purchasing limits. Like, no sir, you cannot buy 12 packs of toilet paper. Seriously, I joked that I was a 21st century Israelite because I had one huge pack of Costco toilet paper that lasted 4 months in a family of 4. Compared to the legend of the Israelite shoes not wearing out. The bizarre determinations on who could be considered an essential worker. My son was considered an essential worker. He was a teenager working his first job in fast food. We were considered essential workers while building a luxury hotel for the Minnesota Vikings. They also explicitly stated that if we refused to work due to the virus, we would lose our jobs. The whole time period was a fucking joke. Surreal mostly. It's almost like a void in my life's timeline. Like it both didn't and did happen. It also felt like it took forever, but yet not long at all if that makes sense. Weird. Lots of anxiety, but it was also kinda peaceful. I count myself very lucky that I had a stable job that I could do from home and that I owned a house with a nice outdoor space. It was peaceful for me because I lived with my family. For my friend who lived alone, it was not fun at all since people weren't allowed to visit each other. My best friend started wearing masks, carrying hand sanitizers and telling everyone that when the vaccine becomes available, she is first in line. Right before she could get the vaccine, she got COVID, ended up in ICU where she was isolated for 6 weeks and no one could visit her at the hospital, then moved up to another part of the hospital where she died. The last phone call we had, she told me she can't stand the hospital because the food sucks here. She couldn't taste the food. Rip Sully. Everyone loved you and we all miss you. I'll be surprised if anyone asks. When it did strike, my brother who studied infectious diseases while in college, was astonished he'd never thought to ask our 4 grandparents about the Spanish flu. They were all young adults when it hit. COVID lit something in me and I've been gassed up ever since. I started mowing lawns out the trunk of my '03 Accord. Then I learned how to climb and properly remove trees. I have a big OL truck and trailer and a ton of equipment now. I was an alcoholic server/bartender before and super depressed. 2 of my teenage kids have moved in with me and I'm in the best shape of my life. My grandma's sister was still alive and said that she finally understood what their parents had been talking about when she was young. They didn't have the internet or Reddit or 10 million people with phones recording everything during the Spanish flu. Asterisk, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the cleanest of times, it was the dirtiest of times. It was the quietest of times, it was the loudest of times. It was the funnest of times, it was the boringest of times. Asterisk. It was the best of times, it was the blurst of times. Lots of Zoom calls in my underwear. Fruit of the Zoom. Alcoholism. I really wonder how many people got back on / started taking drugs due to stresses during the pandemic. I treated myself because the first 2 weeks was this weird stay-at-home banana pants time. So wine every night? Then wine every night. Still. No difference for me. Work was somehow considered essential. We make cabinets drawers and I think we had maybe 3 to 4 orders for the COVID tents during the lockdown. 1 day of work to be considered essential for the whole lockdown. I am an introvert/gamer and just bought my house so didn't really have need to go anywhere. Okay, one difference, Walmart closing at 8 p.m. meant I couldn't go grocery shopping after work anymore. This is great. So happy for you. The stores never switching back to being open late into the night, at least where I am, is truly annoying at this point. Everyone got fat and social media got stupid. And all men grew beards. I am one of the people that got fat. I was comforting myself quite a bit. We sit at home, cook soups and eat bread and desserts and get all fat and sassy. It is hard to lose a family member and not even be able to have a funeral. Depressed about being locked up. Quiet. And empty roads. I miss that part. I was a student nurse at the time and we were asked to volunteer to support the qualified nurses. It was terrifying and absolute hell. I made a metric fuck ton of money delivering pizzas on empty streets. Wouldn't know. I worked in the hospital morgue for the whole lockdown. I hope not to catch the incurable blood clotting disease that killed many of my clients for $19/HR. I was called a hero and an essential worker while I couldn't afford to buy a house. I worked in a COVID ICU as a CNA and made the same. Memories forever forced deep into my subconscious. Fucking depressing. I don't want to say that I wasted up to 4 years of my life cause I didn't, but I felt not even real. I think I dissociated the whole thing. It created a glitch in my brain. Like there wasn't 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. It's more been like 2020.0, 2020.1, 2020.2, 2020.3, and 2020.4. Life since then has basically felt like a fever dream and a parody of the real world. Like some weird collective psychosis. Like we collectively all lost our sanity for a while, but with good reason. The 20 lockdown was a weirdly magical time that was quiet and peaceful, but filled with anxiety. The early 21 lockdown was an absolute nightmare of depression and a slowly decreasing grip on reality. I did a lot of walking. 100% this. The lockdown was kind of cool for a while. Tiger King came out, I got really into cooking, lots of walks with my dog. Then it got scary, then it got mind-numbingly boring, then it got super depressing. 2 words. Tiger King. Honestly, that came out at the absolute perfect time. I forgot about Tiger King. Wow, that was so weird. Every one of my drivers at the time did too, most of them were moonlighting on third-party apps on top of it because the money was so good. So yeah, I worked a lot. In beginning for Canada, there was a type of cooperation which was incredible. After a few months, invasive social media crept in and changed everything. People went from communal to factional in the span of a few months. I was an essential worker. It was the year I understood the depth of how little Americans care about each other. I am an ICU doctor and my view of humanity and society is irrevocably cynical after going through that. Accurate. And as a healthcare worker, I also realized how little many of my close friends and even some family actually cared about me. Nothing really changed. I still had to go to work while most people got to stay home and chill. Same here, although the lack of traffic was nice AF. Yep, I'm in construction. Other than wearing masks, pretty much nothing changed. Not having any traffic was pretty nice too. I tell them about how the mayor of Chicago told people if they left their house they'd be jailed, but then she went and got a haircut. There's so many examples of this. Stay home, don't mingle, but I'll party it up, UKPM. And how the governor of California closed beaches and filled in skate parks caused danger, then went out to eat at a nice restaurant. Me too. I was able to save like $42,000 that year. Made well over $100,000 delivering shit, LOL. It was like all your friends and you being grounded at the same time. Quiet, relaxing, and scary for the first bit, then it was just peaceful. I agree, seeing life slow down for 2 years was nice. I just wish the reason didn't involve much panic, sickness, and death. It was hell. I was a retail manager for Walmart. No lockdown, no free unemployment money, no government help. Constantly understaffed, overworked, and exhausted. We were essential but never got any benefit or recognition. We were physically accosted by people who didn't want to wear masks, but it was a state OSHA ordinance that they were kicked out. We got no choice but got demanded. We got yelled at for toilet paper and other essentials that were just gone, no suppliers had anything, and customer frustrations were taken out on the retail management. So yeah, it was grand. It was pretty much a test run of how fast we will turn and completely destroy each other if faced with an actual disaster. By all accounts, this is a small change of quality of life. When the next hits, it will be even worse. A time for rebirth and growth, but before that happened I was drinking 20 plus a day and actively ruining my life. 2 years sober now. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief, I'll be lucky to make it another 20 years. It was a difficult year on a social level, but on an environmental level it was a rare opportunity to observe what happened to the planet when humans stopped, and it was a better quality of environment. Strange. It was an extended holiday for many. Meanwhile, a huge chunk of the general population got labeled as essential workers and they had to carry on as usual. I think COVID showed us which jobs were genuinely essential to keep society afloat. Yep. And it wasn't the high-paying jobs. With cheap gas too. Like 2002 price levels for a few months. The happiest 10 months of my life. I got paid to go do outdoor fun stuff like crabbing, fishing, hunting, hiking, picnics, etc. Also the happiest 10 months of my life. Found out I wasn't depressed, I was just burnt the fuck out. I had 100% the opposite experience. I am jealous of the people that got to enjoy lockdown. My only plus was a lot of free food. I'm not sure I'd be able to answer. The days were all so similar. My brain has condensed my memories down so that it feels like it was a week or two. I remember empty grocery shelves, my kids doing schoolwork on laptops in our living room, and my husband growing his hair out. I got gas for 25 cents a gallon at one point, but had nowhere to go. Our dog had cancer, so I was grateful that we were all home with him during his last months. Still had to work and deal with the shithead public. I too remember how peaceful it was. The air outside smelled different. The temporary change in pollution levels in highly populated cities was amazing. I worked in a nursing home, so I was at work every day. We all claimed things would be different after we got out of it. We would value health, community, and connection. Then the corporations got worse. I didn't drive at all for around 9 months. AHH, the great toilet paper shortage of the 20s, is how I'll begin.
Hey guys, it's Reddit Glitch. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I just wanted to ask you guys to hit the subscribe button because according to my statistics, 98.8% of my viewers are not subscribed, which I think you should subscribe because it's free and we're going to have a lot more bangers in the future, so subscribe. Again, thanks for watching. Bye.